So 2K just confirmed for 2K27 that 6 badges are going to get completely deleted. They're adding 19 new ones for about 53 badges in total. And today I'm ranking all 40 of the 2K26 badges, giving my thoughts on some of the badges that have been released, and then also some of the new badges that I think should be added to the game to get to that 53 mark. If you're new to the channel, my name is Lance. I was a head coach in the NBA 2K League, where I won a championship with Bucks Gaming. And for the last 2 seasons, I was a coach for USA Basketball's E-National team, where we won back-to-back gold medals. So I primarily focus on the competitive scene, like ProAm, a little bit of Rec. So my opinion is going to stem from a 5v5 basis. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below based on what you think about what I'm going to be talking about today. I know there's going to be a lot of different opinions on these badges based on your gameplay, what mode you play. But this video is just to kind of break it down and give my thoughts on all this stuff. So first things first, the best way to do this, in my opinion, was to do a tier maker list. So I kind of got all the badges here. There's some new ones at the bottom. Our tier list over here, we have must have, which I think are just badges that make sense completely. Very good. They're good badges. Maybe there's some like iffy things about them. Situational is kind of like, I think they could be removed, or they, come up here and there, like in situations, exactly what situational is. Overrated, I think it's just the badge is overrated. I think the badge should be like in consideration for removal because it's either useless or it's only like very, comes up in like rare moments. And then remove, we're only going to put 6 in there because of course that's the 6, but we might end up adding more in there just in general because I do have some old badges that I want to talk about. So we're going to go through these. I'm going to start with finishing. We're mainly going to talk about the 2K26 badges in order, and then we'll jump around to the 3 new ones that were already released and then some of the old ones. So first badge we're going to talk about is Aerial Wizard. So that's for alley-oop dunks, putback dunks, things like that. I don't have a strong opinion on Aerial Wizard, but I just don't know if it's like really necessary to have. Like, I mean, yeah, people get putback dunks in the game. Of course, bigs and wings drive, like running in and holding, RT square, X, depending on your console. But I think Aerial Wizard sits like I almost want to put it like an overrated because I don't really find that I just don't think this is a necessary badge to have. Like, it just comes along with like some of your like physicals and things that happen. So I don't know necessarily if it's like a badge that people are shooting for. It's like, oh, it's there, so I'll get it kind of situation. So I just feel like if that's the case for a badge, why is it even there? If it's not something that people like sought after or like really like changes the game or gives you like a dynamic play style. That's it. Yeah. So for Aerial Wizard, we'll go overrated. The next one's going to be Float Game. Now, Float Game, I think has such a unique play style that like sometimes it's like super overpowered. And then other times it's like, I mean, floaters in basketball is like a really like key thing. So for me, Float Game is so like situational to me. It's like, if you have a really good like middies take over Float Game, people that just want to dunk the ball, but really it's like a mid-range versus the Float Game on like how it happens. I almost want to put it like very good, but I'm gonna leave it situational. I might end up adjusting some of these later based on my opinion, but when it's good, it's like really good, almost too good, but it, sometimes people just want to shoot the mid-range. But I've seen some like insane animations that come like that have like crazy float game or floaters, and so that's just where the situational stuff comes from. But I'm gonna leave that one there. All right, next badge is gonna be the Hook Specialist badge. Now, when we get into the post play, I know there's gonna be a lot of opinions on post play. I think post play needs to like be usable. There needs to be like a defensive aspect to post play, but everything about the game being so perimeter centric and like just shooting mid ranges, especially like in the Pro-Am scene, like it would actually be insane. Like back in older 2Ks, you could, get away from just like dunking the ball a lot, but it would actually be like pretty crazy to actually see like in one competitive Pro-Am game, like a legit big that can like work the paint and like, not shack it where you're dunking, but like finesse and shoot hooks. So like, I think for me, how I'm going to view this one is what I would want for 2K27. And I do think like badges like Hook Specialist and all these other ones I'm going to talk about a little bit. I think we need to like have 2K finally figure out like a balance here and allow like post play to be effective enough to like utilize in like especially the competitive scene, because it's just not. If you go in there and you try to play Pro-Am and you're down on the paint on the block shooting hooks and post fades and stuff like that, you're gonna probably lose a lot of games right now. But I think it'd be so like dynamic to actually have this kind of play style be effective against top competitors. It just opened up a whole new lane of just like types of players, like how you can build your teams or build your metas. Next one we're going to look at is, so Layup Mixmaster is going to be the next one we're going to look at. Layup Mixmaster, it pretty much just makes it where you can like do layups like Kyrie or like your favorite person who can shoot layups in the NBA. Again, it's like a different type of play style, but I'm not sure on like how everyone really feels in general about Layup Mixmaster. For me, I think this badge is going to go into very good. I'm going to put it in very good only because, again, I'm a very big fan of like dynamic, different play styles. Like I would like to see different modes or like different players and teams effectively be able to use different badges and builds to like play the game. It'd be really cool to watch a post team with like a dominant big that can't be stopped in the paint to go against, you know, a guard that can shoot crazy layups. Now we've had 2Ks in the past where layups were just better than dunks, but my intention there is it's a very good badge to have when you have Layup Mixmaster like really high in prior games. It's just really cool, let alone it being really fun to see some of those like layup animations are pretty exciting to see. You know, whether or not it's actually effective, that's not the point. I think it should be on the very good list because we want different play styles. I want different play styles. And when the badge is effective like this and layups can be made, I think it only benefits the game. Now we'll see with the new dunk meter that they've kind of talked about if like that stuff is going to also affect like layup timing a little bit more or not. So maybe if the dunk meter is too hard, you might see a lot of like, you know, layup guards early if the dunking is bad before you get maxed out badges and stuff. So we're going to go here with the Paint Prodigy. So again, back to Paint Prodigy. Improves a player's ability to quickly and efficiently score while going to work in the paint. It kind of goes to the point of very good. I'm going to still put it very good, even though Paint Prodigy to me, I don't think that could be a badge that later I put down to remove because, like, yeah, your ability to, like, you know, tap square and drop step somebody, like, that's all, like, that's fine. They probably have, like, drop stepper badge from the past, but I don't know. I have, like, paint mashing in itself has to be effective as well. It's a very good badge, of course. Like, centers need ability to score just like any player on the court, so Paint Prodigy is like one of those. I just think it's like the way that the badge is worded and the way that it's used that like could be put and removed, and like we make a specialty badge more than just, oh, you finished in the paint better kind of that badge. That's why I'm going to leave it very good, but that one's on the watch. That one's on the watch to be put down to remove for sure. Next, we're going to do the Physical Finisher. So improves the player's ability to battle through contact and convert contact layups. So Physical Finisher, I don't know with this one. This one to me, I mean, the player size and like strength and all that stuff has to be a key factor. You can't have a 6-foot guard that's, you know, 150 pounds, you know, guarding a 6'8", 240-pound wing and like effectively like getting in their way. So that's where I'm going to put this one just in situational. I think it is there and it affects the game clearly in a way that it like makes it more in the realistic realm. But I'm also not a, it just, yeah, like matchups matter. Some of the animations that come out of that, I think are just insane. Like, yeah, you should just blow the guy like to the side and then shoot your layup or dunk the ball. But it's like a situational badge. I like it. Just kind of like flow game. It's like if it goes in your play style, but I don't think you should just, it's the defense's fault for having a defender that can't guard a big player like that. But if you have, I've just seen it activate in ways that it just doesn't make conducive play to like the comp scene, in my opinion. Like if you're just, it's almost like a blow by. It's like there's nothing I could do, but as essentially it's still right. So I don't know. I'm iffy on the Physical Finisher. I get why it should be there. I also kind of see a reason for it to not be there at the same time. But that one might be kind of controversial with your like big slashers. We're gonna go Post Fade Phenom. Proves the player's ability to make post fades and hop shots. Again, I'm a big fan. I think post play deserves a lane. And I think it needs to make a comeback and stay, and people just need to adjust their games. Now, there's a line there, but post-fade Phenom with the MIDI, and sometimes that one's more overpowered. But again, I want it to see post-play back, so I'm going to put it very good. I don't really think a lot of these are too crazy, but again, if you hate post, I get in park, post up, but again, I'm talking about ProAm and Rec. It's just very, very rare to see effective teams do this, and it would be nice to see it in a competitive, you know, scene. Post power will strengthen the player's ability at backing down defenders and moving them with drop steps. All right, this is the first badge I think I'm going to put on remove. And only because, again, I just don't know if you need a badge that is this. Like, if your strength is that much just higher, I just think that there's so much more like effective badges. Like the fact you have a badge to just be stronger, it's like already built into the game. Like you have 99 strength or whatever you have. Why not just that be part of a post powerhouse? And then for drop stepping, it's like the least skilled post play move of all time. You just hold LT, push the and then you click square X and you just drop steps them and then you go up and you dunk the ball. It's like the least skilled. You already have strength. Why do we even have a badge that is conducive to that? So put on remove. I just think it's useless to have a badge like that. Next, post up poet raises the chances of faking or getting by defenders as well as scoring when performing moves in the post. I think it's like I don't know. Like I'm gonna put it overrated only because I don't like the idea of like me being put into animations just because somebody has a badge and like I'm at a position when I can't do anything about it. It's different if like, for instance, if the badge worked where like I go to a post fade and the defender jumps and it like slows their recovery or like makes me speed up my like, up and under or whatever I'm going to do as a post player. That's what I like. And I know that it kind of does that. Like sometimes you can like, it kind of like freezes defenders. So it's like, I might move it to situational. I think there's a world where the post up poet makes sense. Again, back to the post play stuff. If it's done the right way, I think it needs to like speed up animations in the paint when you're going like do close shots, not like off dunks. I mean, I guess you could off dunks, but I shouldn't if you're back, like what's the defensive aspect of it is what I'm saying. Like what would counter it and like have that, post battle. But like if you go like to like a right fake and the defender has their stick and they move right. And then now you could easily like hook it to the opposite and like post poet like makes him not be able to like, I don't know. It's like weird. Like they're getting penalized, but you technically did fake them out and that's part of the badge. So it's like situational. I think there's a world there where post up poet makes a ton of sense in like the finishing world for bigs. Next, we're going to go Posterizer. I know I haven't done much must-haves, but I think this is just a classic badge. We must have it 100% in the game. It's just like, when you think of 2K, this is like one of the most like iconic badges. I don't see a world now. There is like a weird gap where people don't understand the Posterizer versus Rise Up that we're about to talk about. That's a whole conversation that people think standing dunks are Posterizer. I mean, sometimes it fires. This last 2K, like bigs had Posterizer because off the roll, if you go to do your stick dunk, that's Posterizer. That's not stand dunk. So like people, you got to stop your feet and be at like a stop position and they go up. That's Rise Up. Anyways, I don't have to talk much about Posterizer. Rise Up, everybody knows, dunking in the paint. I think this is a must-have, in my opinion. I think that is perfectly tied to like competitive play with these two badges. Like we need to make sure like not only is your overall matter, but like your badge level equate to like, especially we're going to have all these meters. Like if we're going to have a meter on every single dunk, then I think every dunk needs to have like a badge tied to it. So we have stronger types of badges. If we just had like Posterizer and that affects Rise Up, you're going to have centers, like I know there's still the ratings with standing dunk and all that, but I just think Rise Up is a must have along with Posterizer. This makes too much sense where it is. Okay. We're missing any finishing. I think that might be all the finishing. Okay. That might be all the finishing. We're going to go shooting now. So shooting, there's a lot of opinions on the shooting badges. There's not many of them, so we'll go through. Deadeye, jump shot taking the defender closing out. Everyone knows what Deadeye is. I think Deadeye is a must-have. I think you could actually put it to like very good, to be honest. Here's my like take with Deadeye. I think depending upon the defense, it's always a bad shot's a bad shot. But like in basketball, in like IRL, realistic basketball, real life basketball, like you're going to take a contested, like it's going to happen. But like we don't look at real life contested as like bad all the time. There are. But like when people make a tough contest shot, you're like, in real life, your reaction is like, wow, that was a crazy shot. Like bad shot, that was a crazy shot. But in 2K, we're like, oh my, I got 100%, I got an 80%. How do you make that? It's like the complete opposite reaction. So I think like Deadeye has a world. I'm gonna put on very good. Deadeye has a world where it needs to be in the game, but like in real life, we celebrate making contested. But I get it's a video game, and it's like I did my part, but it is basketball, so it's like there's like a middle ground there of like making tough shots. So maybe there's a different badge that could be put there, but I think Deadeye has for sure. I almost want to put a must-have. I'm gonna leave it on very good. Limitless Range, that's a must-have. There's not much opinion on this. We need to have a badge that is effective to like how far back you can shoot. Shooting is already like way, people have their own opinions on how shooting can be done. Whether it's, I like this I like the idea of like no RNG in shooting. Like if you're a skilled shooter and you know your jump shot and you have done everything to like practice it and you have good internet and you have all the setup, I think you should green every shot you shoot if you shoot it right. It's like, it doesn't make sense to penalize somebody that is skilled at that. Now, unlike IRL basketball, I get it. The ratings are like, no one shoots 80% in the NBA. Like, I get that part, but we can't penalize. We should not penalize. Now, to combat the Zins and all that, I'm not going to get in that conversation. That's 2K's job to fix that, and hopefully they finally do. But Limitless, for sure, is a must-have badge. We can't have everybody shooting because there's no badge tied to it from half court. So keep that in. Mini Marksman elevates the likelihood of making shots over taller. I just get rid of the badge. There needs to be like a different here. Like Deadeye either needs to be just be boosted, but it's like, again, Deadeye and Mini Marksman essentially almost the same thing, because your entire job here as a badge is to take a bad shot or shoot over taller defenders. And it's like, yes and no. Like, yeah, we should have small guards in the game that can shoot, but a bad shot's a bad shot. We already have Deadeye, so now you're kind of just double boosting it because they wanted to make a small build. I don't know. I'm not saying they're like take out the small builds, but like maybe the Deadeye could have your shorter guards can like only get a higher Deadeye. I don't know. I just don't see the world where Mini Marksman is actually effective. Like, there's not anybody shooting for Mini Marksman is what I'm saying. Some of these badges, like, okay, I'm going to make my build to get Posterizer. I'm going to make my build to get Legend Rise Up so I can dunk it in the paint. I'm going to make my build to get Legendary Limitless Range. No one's like, I'm going to make a 5'5" guard so I can get Legend Mini Marksman. So it just kind of comes with it. Okay, next we're going to look at Set Shot Specialist. I think it's like overrated. I mean, the fact that we have a badge that boosts you from standing still, it doesn't really make sense to me. Like, especially in like competitive pro, like a guy sitting in, so you're telling me a guy sitting in the corner doing nothing for like 20 seconds, 30 possessions out of the game, or you know what I'm saying? Like 15 seconds sitting there doing nothing to catch a shot and then do to do a quick or no dip set shot specialist. Like, I don't know what we're doing with that. That just doesn't make sense to me. So it's overrated. Almost should just remove it. If you are bad at shooting, you're bad at shooting, and we shouldn't capitalize a badge on your ability to just stand there and shoot the ball. If we want to make shooting harder, that could be a way to like, negate the percentages, but that's a waste of badge to me. Shifty Shooter improves a player's ability to make off the dribble. This is probably the most controversial one, because when this badge is like overpowered, it's like the entire community wants it to be completely removed from the game. I think earlier this last 2K26, if I remember, like you could shoot every single fade, three, like it'll all go in. I think it's a must-have badge, but I think there has to be a balance to it. I think if you don't think Shifty Shooter should be in the game, you got to be able to create off the dribble. And again, back to the play style. The badge should just be very effective to that play style. Like if it's low, you should not be able to make shots like that. If it's high, there has to be like negative consequences to other areas of your game, in my opinion. Like, not like the pie chart style, but I think it is a must-have. I think there is a complete world where like that play style is conducive and effective. It for sure is effective, but there's a balance there. So I almost want to put it very good, but I like Shifty Shooter when it makes sense and when the badge is balanced. So I'm going to put it must-have. Okay, now we're more to what is like defensive rebounding. These are going to get mixed up. We're just going to go as they come right here on this list. Box Out Beast, prove the player's ability to box out and fight for good rebounding position. Box Out Beast. I think based on I think Box Out Beast is situational. I think it should be tied just to your Rebound Chaser. I don't think you need an entire badge built around your ability to box out and fight for a rebounding position. And again, if you're a point guard and you can get bronze and silver Box Out Beast, I don't know. Like, it's just like, if you're already going to upgrade your rebounding, I feel like there's other badges that we could add back to the game that like are better for the game or like make more of a play style. This is just a rebounding badge, but almost everybody that's going to have Box Out Beast is going to have Rebound Chaser Rebound Chaser is going to have Box Out Beast because they're so intertwined. So they're already so intertwined. It's just like, why have it? So Rebound Chaser, I'm just going to put the must have. I'm already talking about it. That's my only point, is like, this badge already does what it's supposed to do. Like, it's a part of rebounding is to box out. A part of boxing out is rebounding. So I don't know, I think they go hand in hand. The fact that you need a whole ability, or they need to make this ability like way less tied into rebounding. It's a part of rebounding, but like, if you could have Legend Rebound Chaser, but you have to still somehow like some sort of like attribute for Box Out Beast, I don't know. That would make sense, where like you could be a really good rebounder, but you're not good at boxing out. But then boxing out is also tied to strength, so you're just it's all just messed up to me. I just don't think it's needed. I'm actually going to put it overrated. I almost want to put it remove, but won't go there. Ankle Assassin. Okay, Ankle Assassin. Again, back to, I don't love it when animations, I'm putting it situational. I don't love it when animations dictate the game. And as a lockdown or like your defender, if you're, people get their ankles broken all the time. Again, in IRL basketball, it's celebrated. In 2K, everybody who gets their ankles broken, it is a complete like complain fest. And I get why, right? But it's basketball. There's a world for it. I don't know where the mechanic, there needs to be like a mechanic in the game where like if I do a move, and again, I don't know how difficult this could be, and it probably is, but if I have my controller right here, and if I do a move, like I go right and I go left with my crossover, and the lockdown shifts his player to the way I just went, and then I cross back, it's like, I don't know if you should stun him and keep him there or like break his ankles completely, but like the clips you get from it, the IRL aspect of it, if you have a super high ball handle and like speed with ball, and like you're going against somebody that doesn't, for sure it should kick in. I just think when you have like a lockdown, like a high defensive guy going against a high ball handle guy, it should just like be really limited, which it is. But I think there's a world where having some ankle breakers is nice, and of course for content and clipping people, there's a world for it. Okay, bailout. Everyone knows bailout. You go to shoot, pass out of your shot. I think I wanted to put it remove. I'm gonna put it remove for a second while I think really hard about it. I don't like the idea of like promoting bad shots. Like that's a bad like when you get a bailout, you're taking a bad shot, or you're like, I know bailouts are real. You go to shoot a ball and you just dump it off. I get it, but in the game again, it's like you're clearly going for a horrible shot, and I got you. And then you're going to just spam pass, and you're going to perfectly get a pass right out of like a jump shot. It's just like, it's not conducive, in my opinion, it doesn't effectively have like competitive play aspects to me. And that's all I really care about, the competitive play aspect. So bailout to me is just, there's no benefit to having it in the competitive aspect. Now, when it comes to the double teams, this last 2K26, it did now add like a reason to have bailout, and like people were 100% like needing bailout because of those double teams that power forwards and locks were doing. So that's where you could put it, where it's situational. I think I'm going to move it to situational because I do like the idea that you need a badge to get out of a double team, but also it's like it's a pass. Like you're just passing out of a double team. Like why do our comp players and everybody have to make a very specific, I'm putting it back to remove. Why do players have to make a very specific build with a very specific level of this to get out of a double team? That could be good or bad. I like the idea of defenses being able to like have different mechanics, and the double team I think this last year was good, but if you ever seen some of those like passes that you could get out of a double team where like it like shot up like a rainbow out of the screen, or I don't know. I think in a double team, most players, if they try to do a bad pass out of a double team, it's usually it's bad pass, but bailout helps that. So it's like a hit or miss. I'm putting a remove. I don't like the idea of the normal, I'm going up for a three, I'm going to shoot it, and then I dump it down perfectly no penalty. In the game, we should penalize that. Break starter, 100% a must-have for me. It's a whole style of play in itself. I think it needs to be in the game. We need to tie the levels of good passes. Like if you have there's a balance, but there's a legend aspect or a high level to like throw the passes down the court. I think they should make it even way more egregious than just my opinion. Like, I get it. We're all NBA players playing it, but a lot of you guys aren't anywhere skilled enough to actually call yourself an NBA player when you're playing an NBA game. So it's like, we shouldn't reward anybody for like having a no break starter or bronze to be able to throw a good pass down the court to just like make the game like your excuse is, oh, I'm an NBA player, why can't I make that pass? It's like, doesn't make sense. Your build should 100% have to be aligned with a high level break starter to get those passes, and that's a whole play style. Like I'm thinking of the badges like in a play style mechanic, like having a center or a power forward with like legend break starter, Hall of Fame. It can change your whole Pro-Am team if you can get it. But again, that's a style. And then, you know, maybe we have a style like a post-up team and they don't really have like a break. You know, it's a whole different dynamic, but it's for sure a must-have badge. Dimer, I think it's must-have. I don't really think there's much. I think Dimer is good because it, again, effectively promotes a play style. I just don't know if every build should get Dimer. Like every build gets Dimer at like some like low level normally, because again, in Pro-Am and Rec, you're gonna, you know, put some passing on your build, hopefully. But I think we should promote like the guards that have this play style where it's like if you have a guard that is like a pass first or a big that's like really good at pass, or just any type of player that's good at passing, and they put those attributes into Dimer and like want to upgrade it, I think it's really important to like promote that like good play, because everybody wants like more passing, especially like Rec. It's like we all want to get on and have the play, like have fun playing the game, and having a guard or a player on the court that was like, you know, feeds people more benefit to them. Hopefully, like I don't want it to be like where you do 2 assists and you have like your takeover, but I think Dimer has a world where 100% it's a must-have to me. Okay, now we're getting to some playmaking a little bit more. Handles for days. Player takes less of an energy hit when performing. I think handles for days is a must-have because, again, it goes back to negating or promoting a play style for me. So a guard that sits and spam dribbles, you know, in place, you know, Curry behind the back, Curry, or, you know, whatever animation you want to talk about. It definitely helps like limit that play style or promote it depending on what build you make. So don't have to go too much into handles for days. I think it's must-have. So we got to get to, what was it, 6 badges to remove. So we got to remove 6 badges. There's going to be 19 brand new badges. So we got to find some like middle ground here in a second of finding 3 more to remove. But we'll get there. Next is Lightning Launch. Must have. Play style. I like Lightning Launch. I think the whole idea of like having Legend Lightning Launch and you're that much faster versus not, the whole, again, play style aspect that goes into it. So I really like the addition of Lightning Launch whenever they added it. I don't know how long ago it's been added, but that's one of my like favorite, like makes sense badges to me. Okay, next we got Strong Handle. So Strong Handle goes back to Physical Finisher with me. I feel like those are like the same badges that kind of go together a little bit. It's like Strong Handle means you have high strength, you know, whatever, all this stuff that goes into Strong Handle, but reduce the likelihood of being bothered by defenders when dribbling. And then you have Physical Finisher, which essentially, like, I know it's for like the finishing part of it, but if you already have Strong Handle, you already have all the stuff and probably to go finish the ball. So that kind of go hand in hand. So I think one of these has to be removed if we're going to remove one. And I think you remove Strong Handle, but you keep Physical Finisher. Let me think about it. Yeah, I think you remove Strong Handle, keep Physical Finisher only because of this. Just because you're a big, strong player dribbling up the court doesn't mean you should get a blow by right through my player because you're like big and stronger. Like, there's just not, like, people are going to talk about like, oh, LeBron when he brings the ball up. Okay, whatever. But you just don't see that with that. Like, Physical Finisher in the half court, like when you're in the half court going downhill and then you go to like shoot out of that, that makes sense to me more because you see that with like a lot of players. But like bringing the ball up the court, like if that's the case, you know, you would just inbound into the biggest, strongest player and he just bring the ball up and you just blow him. That's just not how it works to me. I don't think that's good ball at all. You're not inbounding to your 99 strength center to bring, you know, I know it's the badge. I'm just kind of stretching the example here, but you get what I'm saying. It's just not needed. We already have physical finisher. Can tie those in together, remove strong handle, get it out. Okay, next unpluckable. That's a must-have. The steal battle between a point guard and a lock. It's always going to be there. That's a huge part of the game. You know, blitzes versus on-ball steals versus animation steals. There's so many like different ways to take the unpluckable versus like all that stuff. So must have. I love the battle between like, okay, I have legend unpluckable. How's he plucking me? And he has legend, you know, glove or whatever. It's like, that makes sense to me in the competitive aspect. Versatile visionary. So improves the player's ability to thread and fit passes, including alley-oops and alley-oops quickly and on time. I'm iffy on this one. I'm gonna put it situational only because I like the idea of it, but again, it just goes right back into if you're already gonna have like, let's say 95 pass accuracy, the badge comes with like the attribute of doing that. I don't know like how it like changes the game to like anybody. Now I get it where like it debuffs, you know, other passes. So it goes back to just like, I get where it's situationally like really good guards that are bigs or whatever that have high pass accuracy now can make these like way more insane, like precise passes. So it's more of like a positive, or it's more of a negation of the lower end one. So, you know, actually I'm gonna move it very good. Because I like the idea of like actually penalizing people with low attributes on purpose. Like me, if I have a 95 pass accuracy and somebody with like a 65, should not have the same pass speed. That doesn't make sense. Then I get, oh, you're an NBA player, you're strong. No, it's just, we got to give like a differentiation between those. And I think that helps. A differentiation between how I can play the game and how you can play the game based on how you built your player. It shouldn't just be a 50 pass act and a 99 pass act is the same speed. And I think that, if I remember, also plays part in the speed of your passes. Okay, next challenger. Must have. It's like another one of those like key badges. Don't really need to talk about challenger. There's a whole battle of like how strong it is versus how not strong it is between challenger and Deadeye and all that stuff, but it's a must have. I don't need to touch on this one. Glove. Increase the ability to successfully steal from ball handlers. I think it's just in the must have. Such a good badge. Your locks need it. Defensive players need it. There's not much really to say about it. It's all a balancing act between that and unpluckable, but that's part of the game. Okay, movable enforcer. So improves defensive players' strength when defending ball handlers and finishers who are coming straight at the rim. This I'm gonna put very good because I love the idea of this one. I don't know where it could be more like beneficial. So immovable enforcer, like I just read, you have most of the time it's like point guards really are just attacking because like no one else really has like the ability. Like most of the players in ProAm, you're catching a cut and you're going up. Like there's not really an aspect of immovable enforcer, but you'll see it like when centers are rolling, they catch the ball early, you might get like a really good immovable enforcer. Most of the time you see it is like when people cut and they catch and like off that first dribble, they kind of like get bumped and like drop the ball a little bit. That's like a movable enforcer. So it's like, I like the idea of it because again, back to like the weight aspect of like strong handle versus physical finisher. It's like there needs to be like some aspect, like if the offensive player is faster, they're running faster, you're not in position, you get past them. But then also if I'm a 7-footer and I'm 280 pounds, I should have like an ability to like stonewall somebody. So I think there's a world, maybe you could put it situational, but I think it's good. High flying denier. I'm going to put high flying denier as, I'm going to put it must have because we must have the badge and effectively have it because everyone tries to get those like denials and there's nothing worse than like a point guard or a guard beating a lockdown to go finish. And then all of a sudden you have a center out of the corner or power forward or however you play your defense, or the lock behind you runs and jumps and gets this crazy animation to like block you. It's like the 50-50 game of like, are you actually skilled as a defensive player because you got that, or because I beat you with mine? But like if you got ankle broke for then me to go shoot a layup, you should also get the animation to block me. So I think there's a for sure world in the game. It has to be in the game. It's a must have in the game, in my opinion. It's just, there's so much mechanics with that one. Next, Interceptor, must have. There's really no debate, Interceptor. It's just a balancing act with that, but love the badge. It has a complete like corner of like how the game how the game works. So Interceptor to me is, if you have bad steal and no Interceptor, you should not steal every pass. You should have slow off-ball reaches. I shouldn't be able to play 2 with bronze or nothing and perfectly still be able to steal. Now there's a skill gap. If you time it and you have any level of Interceptor, I think there should be, but I think like the higher the badge, the bigger like the window, maybe. Not by much though. That for sure is annoying, but it's for sure there. Off-ball pest makes players more difficult to get past when playing off-ball. I'm going to put off-ball pest and remove because, again, I get the idea of why the badge is effective, but no one's getting this badge and changing the game and like effectively doing anything. Again, if you have 99 strength and 90 speed, I just think, and I have 60 strength and 50 speed or whatever, me having legendary off-ball pest should not stop you. You know, like, I don't know. That's how I look at it more with like, I feel like such an attribute-based part of the game that it should just, attribute should lead it. And let's leave this spot open for like another badge that we could potentially add. So maybe that's a little controversial. I don't really think so. People are like, oh, is your off-ball pest high enough? It's like, because you get those like crazy bump animations, but it's like if you're in good position and your player has good defensive stats, or like the other player has better stats or something, like just let the game kind of play out. Don't like attach a badge to that, in my opinion, but I don't know. I don't know that one. I'm going to put a remove though. So we only have one more in remove that we can put. And we're getting close to the end here. Okay, next, on-ball menace. Hounds and bodies up while defending on the perimeter. I think on-ball menace is a very good one. Again, it's just kind of the same like back and forth animation between, if I can't get an ankle assassin or like an ankle break on you, should the defender just be able to like suck to my body and I can't dribble the ball or move at all? Like there's a world for sure. It's like, I don't know. That one's such a weird one. There needs to be, you got to like, defenders can like stonewall like point guards or guards and like not let them go somewhere or like push them to away. But it's like, yeah, you should be able to play D and like be able to stick with the guard. But also, if I can't get an ankle breaker every once in a while because I actually got you out of position, then you just standing there holding LT, not doing anything because you have high defense, 0 skill, and you're just like stuck to my left side. I get like why I can't go left or on my left. That makes sense. But now I'm like getting slowed down going opposite of you because of on-ball menace. You know, it's just, I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. I think it's very good and there's a world for it, but I'm going to leave it above Ankle Assassin because I prefer defensive stuff. And I think offensive players are always going to find a way to score. Now the scores could fluctuate, but I think you'll always find a way to score in the game, but like defense needs to start better than offense. And then you could like, I think the balance that way is always easier than the other way. No one wants to score less. So if you start them off scoring less, giving them a little bit of boost, I think you're like get a positive reaction essentially a little bit more, but whatever. All right, Paint Patroller. Ability to block. I think that's a must have. I like Paint Patroller. You should have a badge that equates like your ability to like go to the paint and stop people or like block shots at the rim. That high flying denier kind of go together. Kind of like, again, like if you're a 6-footer but you have like high interior, does that mean you should have high Paint Patroller? Like not really, but I see why the badge is there. It makes sense to me. Pick Dodger. Some of these are going to be pretty easy on defense. 100% must have. Pick Dodger. Yep. Some guys are really good at getting by screens. Screens need to have a place out. The stonewalling completely. It's like people get stonewalled IRL a lot. It's like part of it. Like if you have a big that can actually set a screen and like actually be in position where like the movement of the players makes sense, not just I have high brick wall, so now you're just getting blasted because. But Pick Dodger makes sense. Definitely should be in the game. Post lockdown. It kind of goes along the lines of, I think it's a must have because if I want post play to come back and I'm going to balance this. If you're going against a defensive freak big that has a high post lockdown, because most people in this last game did not do like a ton of high interior. It was like pretty decent. Some did, but a lot of your like Pro-Am did not have like super high interior. So to like stop a post player like that, like it makes sense that you're going to have to go high interior to actually stop those players. So I can't talk about all the positives of like offensive post play and then not do any defensive stuff. So I think it's a must have because of the game that I would like to see. Brick wall, must have. It's just a classic badge. Yep, you shouldn't. Anybody can set a screen, but there are players that have a different screen, like a Steven Adams or like players like that. So it makes sense. High brick wall, legend. You should stonewall defenders, part of the game, but there needs to be like a positioning aspect to it, right? Like the most annoying brick wall animation to me, just watching, is like, I don't know how to like position my hands for this. I'm the defender. I'm standing here. The center's right here. I don't move my player. The point guard runs and goes away, and then I just get pulled right into the animation of the brick wall. Like I'm just stuck in this animation. The point guard goes that way and shoots. That's annoying. So if they can like fix that, that'd be cool, but I get why it's there. Okay, slippery off ball. Remove. Unless you're going to like insanely buff it, I just don't love slippery off ball. I think it could be removed. I think it just goes to your player's agility or your player's speed. Unless they super buff it. If they super buff it and they make it way harder to get, and not everybody can get Hall of Fame of it, then there's a world. Because there's a lot of like guards in Pro-Am that are like catch and shoot guys, and there's a lot of guards, especially a shooting guard, that are like dribblers more. And besides the fast break, there's not like catching and shooting off that stuff, and like knowing your like windows is such a big skill. With the no dip, I don't know really how I feel about the no dip. I don't love the no dip. I just think it's like kind of like a bailout of a shot. But like if you could like buff slippery off ball and then take like the no dip shot out, and like where off slippery you can get like, but then you're changing the timing. So I don't really know how I feel. I think it should be taken out, but unless you're going to super buff it, because having everyone have like Hall of Fame super off ball for nothing, I don't know. And then like some people put it on for like their center rolling. It's just, it doesn't make sense. Or like you'll get it. It just kind of comes with the badge. You're not like really trying to get it. Now if you super buffed it and you could like do some crazy moves off ball, and you built your player like that, but it's like hard to do that because of like what physicals are going to be tied to it. It's just everybody would get it. So that's why I think it should be removed. It's like a middle ground badge. Like there's a world where it could be like really cool, and there's a world where it's like how it is. Okay, last badge out of these, we're going to go pogo stick. I'm going to put pogo stick as very good. Maybe even situational. No, I'm going to put very good. The reason why I think it's very good is because you should have a negative like attachment to jumping incorrectly, and you're just over jumping. But I think pogo stick needs to be like way more like way more upgraded in a way of like, if you have no pogo stick and you jump, like it's over. Like you're not going to get the contest. You're out of the play. We should like, jumping should be bad, like really bad. It's never good in the NBA. It should be really bad. So you should not be able to like recover on a bad jump, essentially, is what I'm saying. On the other side of it, you don't want a guy like to just spam, like jump up and down over and over, but there are like, that if you have that badge, like being able to play like that is different. So, and like having to build your player like very specifically to play like that, I think could benefit like, again, the like multiple types of play styles. But I think it's very good. I think it has its place. Okay, now, so when it came to the new badges and like the 19 brand new, instead of me sitting here trying to like think of like, oh, I'm going to recreate I'm going to do 2K's job and recreate these badges, I didn't want to do that. So I went through and I kind of found some of my favorite badges from the past. Now, people are going to be like, oh, well, that badge is over that badge, whatever. 19 of my favorite badges, essentially in certain ways, that I wanted to bring back up to hope that, like, again, the game's already done. So, and we already know 3 of the badges, so they're on here. I wanted to bring back some that make sense to me, or badges that I love for nostalgia reasons, but also I think could be, make an impact. So I'm going to pull these up. Okay, first is Agent 3. Now, the reason I want to bring up Agent 3 from the past, people are going to like, oh, that's the same as, what is it? What's the badge we just talked about? I forgot. Oh, Agent 3 is the same as Shifty Shooter. No, it's not. I think it's must have. We should separate the ability for you to take moving threes and moving shots in general. That's why I think you bring Agent 3 back and you make it very, I don't know how you change it besides adding the attribute of like moving shots, but this is my way to combat that. Is Shifty Shooter is more like your middies and things like that, and your Agent 3 goes to just 3-pointers so you can separate it. So you're not just going to have guys, and like mid-range and 3 needs to be separated in their badges too. And like mid-range players, like there needs to be, I get when you can shoot 3, not every 3-point shooter can shoot middies, not every mid-range shooter can shoot 3s. That's not how it works. I think that needs to be like a bigger gap. And then you have way more effective badges that just equip to one or the other. And like you can't just, I have a 99-3, so I automatically, like this last game did a better job, and I have like a 70 midi, but I can still make my middies. I don't know. I think Agent 3 could help solve the problem where Shifty Shooter is both. I can shoot every mid-range because I have Shifty Shooter, and then I get Legend also off the 3. So if you like separate it, you know, it could make it where like a 3 guy can't go in the midi kind of situation. Okay, next I'm gonna hold over here is Chase Down Artist. Now, I completely get it. We already have a badge that completely does this job, and High Flying Denier. Okay, the next badge I'm gonna talk about is Chase Down Artist, and I know we already have High Flying Denier. I just brought this back to just talk about this point. In Pro-Am, you have rotational drops. So like you run stack, triangle, reverse, whatever rotation you run. That alone with High Flying Denier is like, those are kind of like hand in hand. You jump out the corner, usually you get it. I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, what if you're High Flying Denier and then like running and chasing down a guard on the break are like kind of two different like badges? Now that might sound just, what's the point of that? This is one where I'm like 50-50 on, but I think that rotation drop badge shouldn't be the same as like a big standing in the under the paint, like blocking players, or like a lock chasing me from behind to like jump and block. So it's more like maybe change the High Flying Denier to something else, and then, you know, keep Chase Down the way it is because that makes sense. Like somebody with high Chase Down to block you from behind, but more maybe like Taylor one of these to be what that badge could be is like, I made a swing big, and my swing big isn't just High Flying Denier, but like this kind of like hybrid badge of like, I don't know if like faster swings, but I don't know how it would work, to be honest. That's kind of a tough situation. I was thinking like, if you had to like make your big like a smaller athletic one, instead of just having the power forward in the back end, like if you had like a 6'8" power forward in the corner, but had like this special badge to like swing quickly, it'd make it hard for sure, but that's just kind of my idea. Okay, next badge I want to talk about, and again, it's going to sound the same, but I didn't want to think of ideas of names. So I'm going to talk about Ankle Breaker. I'm going to put it in the situational with the Chase Down Artist and Ankle Assassin right next to it. The only reason I'm bringing back Ankle Breaker is, here's my opinion. Ball handle speed is tied to just every animation no matter what. But what if like Ankle Assassin, and you altered it, was like effectively like makes your crossovers or like your pullbacks like in a different speed range than just being able to break somebody's ankles, and they like split those up. So like, although you have a guard that can now ball handle, and we can allow like bigger guards to like actually handle the ball with like a decent ball handle and not just get ripped. So you can kind of have like your 6'8" LeBron dribblers with like super high dribbling, but like they're not going to get the same speed animations as like an Ankle Assassin kind of guard that has like this badge that ups their quickness of like, you know, whatever animation it is. So it's like, it's kind of like the same playstyle. I don't know what to name it, so I just brought up the old badge. Is like, separate it, let your dribble animations also have a badge tied to them, you know, whether it's speed with ball. I don't know exactly how it would work, but then like your Ankle Breaker, what Assassin is now, is also then its own kind of badge that does its own thing. I think that would kind of be like interesting. And then you could still allow like certain bigs. I don't know if you like height cap it or what you would do, but then certain bigs can't, or like bigger players can still dribble. They have their own animation. It's just slower, but they could still have like effectively like high unpluckable and high ball handle, but it's like a different speed than like, you know, like a Luka versus like a Kyrie and like how they do it. They both have like probably high ball handling, but it's like a different level of like ball handling. So that's my idea with ankle breaker. Okay, next one's gonna be clamps, and again, similar, different usage rate here or usage. We already have on ball menace. I'm gonna put clamps in the same one as on ball menace. These are like the new badges. Again, different like things. Okay, so in my head, clamps, I'm clamping you in the half court. I think there needs to be like a separation of a badge here. I don't know how you get here with attributes, so that's not my job. Idea is like the whole side of the game that I think could use badges and like ability to play a certain way is like full court pressing. And like whether it's on ball menace or like full court menace or something like, and like certain locks have to have a certain, you know, way that they build their player, and they can like really affect the game in the full court, whether it like makes them like way faster, or I don't know the like super details, but I think to bring about a whole different style, it's like everybody tries to press in Pro-Am, and like some teams are really good at it, but having like a badge that could like affect your player in a different way when you're full court and half court to like really change the dynamic of the game, I think is cool. So I'm leaving it called clamps because I think you clamp people in the half court, but maybe like on ball menace, instead of just like holding you still in the half court, it's like this is now a full court badge, and I have on ball menace. I'm fast. I can wall up people in the full court. Like you just become a way like different game changer. Because we see in like IRL NBA, even if you look at like you know, the Spurs Thunder series, or just like teams that press really good, it's like you clearly see it affects teams in certain ways. So whether it's like, I don't know, stamina draining or you lose an adrenaline, I don't know. I'm not saying to go that far with it, but that's my idea with separating and like adding, like effectively creating a whole new play between like a full court team. Okay, next I'm going to talk about corner specialist. I know I hate on set shot specialist, but the only reason why I'm going to put this on very good. The only reason why I hate on set shot is because it activates anywhere. It's like anybody can stand anywhere and you get a boost. Doesn't make sense. But like we need those guys in the corner and Pro-Am to have a badge that effectively like helps them or like is attuned to like their play. Like if you're in the corner, you take a shot, it's the best 3-point shot. And the, you know, I think that's what they say in the NBA. I'm pretty sure it's the best 3-point shot to take. I think there should be a badge that is a like to it, and then that way we also kind of negate some like these lower threes in the corner, like make the corner specialist like essential. Like the attribute matters, but instead of having like a 73 ball in the corner and you can green it, now we have a corner specialist badge that adds like a different level. And so again, I'm not a super fan of no dip. I just think it changed the game too much. So if you take no dip out, add the corner specialist in at a higher clip, maybe speed your jumper up if you want, you know, like at a consistent way, not like waves where you can't time a jumper. So that's why I think corner special should be brought back and set shot should be taken out. Okay, clutch shooter. Now this is a tough, like this is like, I love the idea of clutch shooter. I'm putting it very good. The reason why I like the idea of bringing clutch shooter back, so you know what clutch shooter was. Clutch shooter elevates shot success and green window sizes during the final 2 minutes of close games. I just think that that makes so much sense to have. There's probably another badge in here I don't remember that is kind of attuned to that, but I don't think so. This badge makes sense because it's like in the moments you got to get the ball to your guy, and like the defense knowing that this player is like enhanced for the last 2 minutes essentially is like, man, that would be like some crazy moments where you know this person now has like, you know, if they have 99-3, it's like 103-3. I don't know how it would work, but it makes for some crazy end games. You know that your player is built to have clutch shooter. You know your team knows that all your badges are heightened. It's going to create such more friction at those end moments where it's like, dude, why'd you take that shot when you know I have legend clutch shooter and I'm elevated? Like, give me the ball. I'm going to work. And like, I think that's good content. I think that's realistic to like real NBA because everyone has like the guy on their team that is going to get the ball in those moments. So I think like having that badge to like actually like be there, I think that'd be like fun to bring back and see, and especially in ProAm and Rec. So next one, defensive leader. I'm putting this in the situational. So if you don't remember what defensive leader was, it boosts team defensive attributes and displays real-time opponent shot contest percentages. On that last part, I don't remember if it like just showed everybody. I can't remember exactly like what that part was, but the whole point of defensive leader is like the same thing as like a floor general, or like how you're boosting offensive stats with passes with dimer and stuff like that. I think having somebody out there you know, like maxing at 1. I think that's what it used to do, is like one player could have it and it wouldn't stack. But like, for instance, I know this is like insane example, but like Victor Wembanyama has clearly a defensive leadership ability. Like knowing that kind of player's on the court makes you play defense in a certain way. That might be a bad, because like people might play worse defense to let their people drive. You know what I'm trying to say? Having like defensive people like that, like locks or bigs or something like that, and it kind of elevates the team knowing that they have that, or like, you know, calling things out. I just think, again, it brings a different like aspect to the game, where even if it did stack and like it took 4 or 5 of those to like make it effective, again, it's just kind of like it would change the play style a little bit. Like they had to like lower their builds, offensive abilities, to have a team of defenders, but now like since they're a team of defenders, it's like boosted them, if that makes sense. It like adds a little bit more like swaying of the where you got to be at. So I like defensive leader. Okay, next one, fast twitch. It's essentially like a mixture of Paint, Prodigy, and Rise Up. I want to put fast twitch in a must-have. Maybe very good. I'll go very good. I'm putting fast twitch in very good. Now, the difference in my head of where fast twitch could come into play is it's not just a badge for like, I don't think fast twitch in general was a badge just for bigs, but fast twitch accelerates standing dunks and layup takeoff speed under the rim before defenders can contest. It was for all of them. I think that needs to come back for the sake of like bringing layups back, where I cannot remember the layup animation where like you used to like go inside. It was like way too fast to block. But I think that could like bring back layups, or like that play style is like having this badge be able to boost that part of it, like fast layups, or, you know, going up in the paint really quickly, which I know Paint Prodigy has a little aspect of. So I think fast twitch for sure could change the game in like those ways. Fast breaks, chase down coming, you have fast twitch, and I can go up. I pump, I get a guy up, I can fast twitch, go up really quickly. It kind of connects to the post up poet, where you kind of get that like wiggle, you know, if you're posting up and they misstep or something, and then now fast twitch kicks in. But now if it doesn't, you don't have these like big burly centers that have no finishing really, or like these super shooting centers that go up just as fast as my 7-foot full 99, everything inside. It's like now I have the ability to play like that and like play to my strengths. So I think fast twitch for sure could like make a comeback and tweak the game. Okay, the next badge is already confirmed for 2K27. It's called Flash. So Flash improves off-ball movement speed during transition offense and transition defense. It's going to allow off-ball players to essentially sprint down the court in fast breaks and then move or stop and get back. The way that it is said, I think it's a must-have, because in Pro-Am and like competitive play, and in Rec for sure, there is a huge like benefit to having somebody that can like time their, you know, their fast breaks and like getting back is a whole skill. Now, having a badge that effectively like connects to that, I think is important, but it just depends on like how easy it is to get this badge. So as long as like they've thought about exactly how they want players to get this, I'm assuming it is tied between defense and speed. It can't just be one or the other. It's like, but all shooting guards are going to have high defense, because that's just part of like being that. So it's like, it depends on like what you need to, it depends on just what you have to give up to get it. But I like the idea of Flash a lot. I think it has a for sure place in competitive play for sure. Okay, next, floor general. Next, we got floor general. So floor general, kind of like defensive leader. I'm going to put it in situational. Just because a player has playmaking doesn't necessarily mean it has to benefit everybody, but I think it's still good to have that style of player out there. Like if you're a player that you're pass first, you put all your attributes in playmaking, should it just boost everybody on your team? No, I think in the past it was like you wanted your like power forward or center to have it. Someone on the court like Locke or something was supposed to have floor general, or it was Stack. I can't remember the exact, my brain's kind of fogging on that part, but I think it's an interesting dynamic to have. Like the more floor generals you have, maybe it stacks a little bit. Not like one is like almost useless, but if I get a full team to commit to it and there's like a sort of ability that goes with it, that'd be like pretty interesting. Next badge we're gonna talk about is Giant Slayer. So I'm gonna put Giant Slayer in situational / very good. I'm gonna go situational. I want layup. Everything just being dunking is boring, and everything just being layups is boring. I think Giant Slayer, you have a 7'3" in the paint, but being able to like combine that with like that fast twitch and being able to go up like against bigger defenders in the paint, and like that being tied to a badge, which essentially you can control more of, like if it's low, you're not going to finish, but if it's high, it's like you can't really complain. I put points and attributes to get Giant Slayer. So I think for sure, I don't remember the exact, let me see what the badge increases layup and contact finish success when smaller guards attack taller defenders. But it just makes sense. Like I know we shouldn't negate like tall builds and big builds, like having position, but on the same thing, like you just standing in the paint doing nothing because you're 7'3". I mean, I guess I'm talking about Victor Wembanyama a second ago, but I think Giant Slayer has like a realm where it plays a part into boosting a part of the game as a style that's like not used. So you should add it. Okay, next badge is Masher. Now this badge is like tied into a bunch of the finishing stuff in the paint, but I think Masher should go with every build on like their ability to just enhance drop steps, post moves, and close range rim finishes when backing down significantly smaller defenders. It goes along the lines of like, I think the Powerhouse one that I said we should remove, post Powerhouse. But Masher, I think, goes with everybody should be able to mash at some capacity, but like having a big with Masher and like pumping and like, like having this other center like mistime their jump, some bigs are just like insane mashers like in Pro-Am and like their skill level. So having this badge where it affects that, I think something we should think about bringing back or altering. Needle Threader. I think this is just a remake of the Versatile Visionary. So I think, again, it goes hand in hand. One of these needs to be like a speed, like only tailored to speed of your passes. I don't know how you kind of get there. Needle Threader to me needs to be like a speed. Like, I think that's how you change the dynamic of like how you make these point guards and guards play a certain way, or like centers. Is like maybe a center cannot get like high Needle Threader per se. I know there's like, Jokic, all that, whatever. But if you like have Needle Threader, like a certain height can only be capped at this, and their speed of passes only max at this, then I think that benefits the game versus like a point guard getting legendary Needle Threader and their passes are fast and like it gets there, and then like a big, because they're already 7 foot, or like smaller guards. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like there's still tall guards that pass well. I get all that. I'm just saying like that could help balance out like why you make a smaller players. Like you're a playmaker, like Chris Paul-esque. Now you have Needle Threader and your passes are like zooming around. And so it's like when you play against that kind of a guard, you know that ability comes from that versus a 6'7" guard who can't get high Needle Threader. So it's like the 5 out's a little bit like negated, or you know what I'm saying? So it could just bring a different dynamic. Okay, another 2K27 badge that's in the game, 100% pace. I'm going to put pace at, I think that they're trying to do what I said earlier. I'm putting pace on very good because the idea of what pace is. So pace, if you don't know, increase the overall sprint speed of the ball handler in all offensive situations. So I kind of wrote some notes on what I think the competitive impact will be. So speeds up full court fast breaks, press breaks against perimeter locks, and transition ball handling off inbounds or defensive rebounds. Central for point guards and secondary ball handlers. So I want to know if it's like only half court or full court. Now it says in all offensive situations. So I think that's like their point of like trying to like allow people to have ball handling. But again, back to the speed part, like if you don't have high pace, you don't move as fast. I don't know. It makes sense. Like when I read it, it makes sense. But then when I think about it in like play, it doesn't make sense. It's just kind of like, is it like lightning launch? But lightning launch is like when you first go, so it's pace like at your top speeds. So they're trying to like add a badge to like negate how fast you move with the ball, top speed. I don't know. I'm gonna put very good because I like the idea of what it could do. We'll see actually what it does. All right, next is gonna be Slithery Finisher. I just put Slithery. So this badge reduces physical contact and body up collisions during gathers and drives to the rim. I'm gonna put it as very good because I think it benefits. It just depends if you get like blow bys a little bit with it, but I like the idea of it attaching to like the layup builds and like essentially helping them. But also if you do get, a certain angle on your player, Slithery kicks in. I'm just trying to think of like, again, like I've been saying, adding more complexity to the game of like different builds that you can make. Okay, next one is Quick First Step. I'm going to put it in Situational. It goes almost essentially like right with Lightning Launch, but again, I think pace now plays a part into that. So this is kind of a 3-parter. I just think with dribbling, we should break up more aspects of what it is to dribble. So like if pace, they're going to control with your top speed, with the ball. And then your lightning launch, which is probably when they're going to get remove. Your lightning launch is to, I think it's off the first dribble or whatever. And then you have like a quick first step. Like, so I probably should have named quick first step different, but I think instead of calling it quick first step, it's like, we should call it quick slow effect or like stop effect. Because I think it would be really like awesome. So like normally like when you like go do a dribble pull up, you like get past your defender a little bit, you just hold square X. Oh, I go up, I shoot. But imagine like we had a badge. I use quick first step, but just ignore that. You have a defender on your hip and you do like a pullback, right? And then like they keep running, but like you have this badge that like stops your player. Imagine like quick stopping. Like it's kind of like a part of that. Like a whole badge tailored to your ability to like stop moving. Now it could promote a lot of guards and comp pro-am like would 100% shoot for that play style. But like if you don't have it, maybe you can't quick stop. I don't know if you want to go that far with it, but I think it'd be interesting to see that dynamic of like you beating a lock up the court. Now he's catching you. You hit him with like the fast stop, and then like maybe you could boost back out of it with lightning launch. So you have like lightning launch to like your first step. Now you have pace when you have the ball, and now you have quick stop step. I don't know what you want to call it, to like stop and then be able to burst out of that really fast. But if you don't have it, you kind of like get like these more slower. You don't have like the ability to like just stop yourself like that. So I think it'd be pretty interesting. All right, next, volume shooter. This one's going to be so interesting. I'm going to put it very good. I almost want to put it situational, actually. If I want to be like realistic, it's probably situational. No one wants ball hogs, but yeah, I'll put it situational. Let's be realistic. Situation. I think volume shooter has a place because, again, if we want to make the game realistic to NBA, then it's like, yeah, there's players that take shots during the game. They're the guy, they're the person that they go to for shots. So it just makes sense that like throughout the game, you get these small like stacks of boost because it's like you're the guy, but also it's like you're benefiting a player for taking bad shots or just being a ball hog. So in the rec scene, I think that's horrible and it's going to promote bad play. In Pro-Am, I think, again, it can get in a team's head to like play through somebody like that. Like if you have a player that has volume shooter and they get going, you're in for a world of hurt. But like also they're also going to defend to their team saying, hey, I volume shooter, don't matter if I'm taking bad shots by the fourth quarter. And then it's just a whole like mind game you can play of like, dude, you're 2 for 15. Yeah, but my stat, like, oh, and then we know the exact stack mechanic that comes with it. But I think it just, again, it adds that like a reason to have a badge. Like some people's going to go for volume shooter because they know on their pro-am team, or like they want to be the person to shoot 20 shots a game, or they all will shoot 20 shots a game. So I think it's like a pretty cool dynamic to actually like change actually how people play, because they're going to play into that badge. They're not going to play into a badge like slippery off ball. You're going to play into volume shooter. I have volume shooter, I need shots, like kind of thing. So it can like make or break a team. Okay, another new confirmed badge called Wall Up. I'm going to put Wall Up in very good because I've talked a lot about offensive post play. This one's kind of defensive post play. So Wall Up, decrease the opponent's shot success. I cannot say that. Decreases the opponent's shot success chance when playing hands up defense in the paint. My competitive impact. Allows centers and power forwards to contest rim runners, post moves, and slashers in the paint cleanly without drawing, like blocking or reaching fouls. I think Wall Up has to be like really overpowered or really bad. I think for sure with a badge like this, it sounds like they're going to up the post play. And so with the post play, I think you need like the negation of it. So just, I hope that they tie this to interior and it makes an actual impact where like if somebody doesn't have it, the post guy can like, not like super take advantage, but can, be effective, but then the opposite. What I don't want to see is Wall Up effectively like allow perimeter defense to be better because you have this. So hopefully like really is tailored to like the paint, which essentially is supposed to be. Okay, and last but not least, from someone that's played the game quite a bit, I want to bring back Workhorse, and I'm putting it almost in must have. I'm putting it very good. Only reason is this last game, and I think I get why they did it, but like you could clearly see a differentiation of like when you go to dive out of bounds and save a ball, and it always goes back to like your team or like whatever. Like that to me was so just RNG, not RNG, it was like forced to happen like every time, no matter what. Everyone knows when they play ProAm and Rec. I don't know how, I mean, Park's not, but when you go to dive out of bounds and save the ball and they get that animation, the ball always perfectly like flies right back to their teammate. Let's just put a badge on that. If you got a guy that has Workhorse Legend and they have it, and now I know it's tied to rebounding and there's more things, like officially what Workhorse is where is it at? Speeds up recovery animations for diving for loose balls, 50-50 possessions, and tracking down long rebounds. But I think that's just way more like, they already have mechanics in the game versus just Box Out Beast. Like, what if Workhorse and Box Out Beast kind of went together? Because boxing out is effectively an effort play. Like, it's a part of rebounding, but it's an effort play. But now you add like a badge to like those animations. So if you have somebody or like multiple people with like high Workhorse and you're getting those like awesome animations, it's like, dude, why is this team getting these and we don't get any? It's like you have nobody on your team with a high Workhorse, and that Workhorse is like allowing them to play like that. And like, I know it's honestly kind of ridiculous, but I'm just saying you might as well tie a badge to that kind of play. Long rebounds, diving for ball, like 50-50 possessions, but it just depends on how you get it. So, all right, that was a long breakdown. Let me know your thoughts on everything I went through. A lot to go through if somebody actually gets to this point. So I appreciate whoever locks in and watches all of that. If you're a content creator and you make YouTube videos, check out a tool in the description called Launchlens. I use it for every single video of mine. It can make thumbnails. It does your title, description, and tags. It essentially just made my life much easier using the tool. So like I said, check out the description below. And if you're a comp rec player, pro-am player, I'm going to be definitely looking to play an NBA 2K27. So check out my Discord in the description below as well if you want to join. We have some players that play a lot in there, and it would be nice to play with some other competitive players for 2K27. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one.